On this channel, we've talked a lot about D&D. We discussed exploration, combat, and tools to help the GM with their prep. And while this will remain our main focus, there is a whole world of RPGs out there waiting to be explored.
Today we are talking about games where you never roll anything, where chaos is replaced by logic, narrative and, believe it or not, kindness. Games where you don't win because you're lucky, but because you played your role well.
Ciao! Welcome to Country! This is a special episode where we take you through 3 alternatives to D&D that will make you see role-playing in a whole new light. No randomness, just decisions.
It's called Ember, and it's one of the strangest gaming experiences out there. Ember is based on the Chronicles of Ember by Roger Zelazny, a fantasy saga where the true reality is a single place, Ember. All other worlds, including ours, are just shadows, imperfect copies. The characters, they are the children of Amber's king, practically immortal, incredibly powerful, and constantly backstabbing each other with style. And you play as one of them. No low-level adventurer here. You play as a demigod from the start. You have cosmic powers, you can travel through dimensions, and if you try hard enough, you can even reshape reality. But be careful, there's no dice to save you. Either you're stronger, or you lose. Here's how the system works. There are 4 core stats: warfare, endurance, strength, and psyche. During character creation, players participate in an auction to claim the top ranks in each attribute. Whoever spends the most points on psyche, for example, is the strongest mind among PCs. That's it. In a mental duel, they always win. End of story. Ember is not about raw power, it's about how you use it. The second stronger character can still win, if they're clever. Conflicts aren't resolved by rolling a dice, but through consistency, logic, and narrative strategy. You win not because you're lucky, but because you planned well, or betrayed at the perfect moment. Imagine you're betting your entire kingdom on a single game of chess against a grandmaster, and you don't even know how to play. You're toast, right? Unless you get creative. So no, you are not playing fair. You're sleeping in with a hidden earpiece, getting real-time advice from someone smarter. Maybe you accidentally schedule the match right after his worse hangover. In Ember, that's not cheating, that's playing smart. Also, Ember is famous for its family drama. The characters are siblings, often in conflict. There are no parties of merry adventurers. You start with suspicion, rivalry, fragile alliances, and epic revenge plots. Ember demands a lot. You need a group that loves role-playing, a skilled GM, and players willing to take the story and their characters seriously. But in return, it gives you one of the most narrative-rich, immersive experiences possible at a table.
Alright, let's set Ember aside and take a step further, like way further. Like, I am the embodiment of an abstract concept and I bend the reality to my will further. Welcome to the game where you don't play a rogue, a wizard, a barbarian, but the personification of an idea. You are the noble of desire, the lord of rage, the queen of withered flowers. In Nobilis, you play semi-divine beings tasked with protecting your domain of reality, or if you want, changing it forever. Nobilis is a narrative, philosophical RPG. It's the kind of game where you stop, stare at the sky and ask, what happens if the concept of time ceases to exist? And then you roll a dice? Nope, there are not. You declare, you act, you transform. So, how does it work? In Nobilis you play nobles, beings chosen by higher gods called imperators to embody and defend an aspect of reality. You are the concept in human or almost human form. You wield vast power, but you're also at war. With what? With the excrucians, beings trying to destroy reality, concept by concept. So yes, they're trying to destroy you too. The brilliance and strangeness of the system is that it focuses on what you can do, not how likely you are to do it. You have a score from 0 to 5 in 4 different areas: domain, aspect, realm, and spirit. Domain is your control over your concept. If you're the noble of fire, you can spark flames, ignite infernos, or set a cold heart ablaze. Aspect is your superhuman physical and mental prowess. With Aspect 4, you can solve a cosmic riddle while bare-knuckle brawling a mountain. Realm is your power in your personal sanctuary, your home domain. And Spirit is your charisma and your authority. To act, you spend miracle points from your pool. It's like using fuel for epic actions. You don't roll to see if it works. You decide, based on your power level and narrative context. If you're strong enough, it just happens. Period. So the real tension is not, can I do it? But what are the narrative, emotional and cosmic consequences of doing it? You're the noble of death. Want to bring someone back to life? Sure. But what does that mean? You're rewriting the laws of your own essence. Something will change. You will change. Here's the magic. Nobilis doesn't ask you to win. It asks you to create a story that aligns with your nature. You're not a human with powers, you're a concept pretending to be human. Of course, Nobilis isn't for everyone. It demands imagination, lateral thinking, and a group of people deeply immersed in storytelling. For example, you don't just say I swing my sword, but you ask why, with what intent, how will this change the world, or the very idea of fighting. In short, Nobilis is deep, poetical, mystical, sometimes surreal, but also remarkably free and powerful, and not in a big number way, but in a way that hands you the responsibility of reality itself.
We've talked about demigods fighting for control over reality, but now let's shift gears completely. Yes, it's time to put down the cosmic sword and pick up a straw hat, a travel journal, and maybe a jar of homemade jam. Because we are about to step into the world of Wanderhome. Wanderhome is a slow, contemplative, and tender experience. There are no dice, but also no combat, no levels, no hit points. And before you run away screaming, trust us, it works. Actually, it's wonderful. Wanderhome is set in a world called F, a pastoral, dreamlike land full of rolling hills, tiny villages, towering trees, and anthropomorphic animals. You might play a traveling rabbit, an elderly lizard with a soldier past, a little goat who always carry a lantern and stories to share. The heart of the game is the journey. There's no epic quest to save the world, just an ongoing exploration of places, but also emotions. In each session, characters travel, meet people, see new landscape, and share memories. Each character has a playbook, and each playbook includes a set of questions, prompts, and phrases to guide the narrative. When you want to do something, you don't roll dice, you answer questions. Describe a moment where you find comfort in a familiar landscape. Or tell us about something you left behind and still miss. There are no successes or failures. There are only choices, reactions, and emotions. Wanderhome is built around emotional spaces more than mechanical challenges. It's a game where an entire story might be around a character learning to forgive themselves. On a practical level, every location you visit has themes and moods to color the scene: joy, melancholy, renewal, solitude. Players choose which themes to explore, and the scene is built from there. In a world full of games about combat, conquest, and survival, Wanderhome invites you to sit down, walk slowly, ask questions, and realize that sometimes the greatest adventure is to learn to be kind.
And there you have it. 3 RPGs, 3 experiences completely different from D&D, and all 3 of them amazing in their own way. We'd love to keep playing them all, if only we had all the time in the world. But for now, our weekly session is still dedicated to D&D. There's still so much to explore, and we're far from exhausting everything it has to offer. Of course, there are plenty of RPGs just waiting to be discovered out there, and spoiler alert, we'll be talking about some of them in future videos. Let us know in the comment which RPGs you'd like us to cover, and share your experience with us. We'll see you in the next video, where we will dive into how AI can be used in D&D. Thanks for watching!